Hello, dear divine holy beings. Thanks so much for dropping by. I was just watching, for better or for worse, I was just watching some videos that were critiquing um, spiritual teachers, specifically critiquing teachers who, had fostered sort of a cult of personality and, created dependence on themselves. And that's one of the things I love about Bruno Greoning and his teaching is, in essence, Bruno Greoning said, my only task is to help you refine, to help you refine the divine connection and to be a mediator until you're able to do it on your own. I'm very grateful to that attitude that Bruno Greoning lived and shared. Because sadly, here in the 21st century, there's a lot of teachers who don't want to set people free, who want people to be dependent on them, and I take deep comfort in that Bruno Gröning was not interested in that at all. He was interested in helping people reestablish the divine connection, and get to the point where they didn't need Bruno Gröning anymore. As Bruno said, so that they could stand on their own 2 feet. So, each of us is at a different place in our journey. Some people may not feel the need for a helper like Bruno Gröning anymore, and some of us may feel desperately that we still need such a teacher, such a helper. So, wherever you are in your journey, let's reconnect now. Let's reconnect. As Bruno Gröning said, take up the connection to God and maintain that connection. And if you feel that you need help doing it, call out to a helper like Bruno Gröning. If you don't feel that you need help, just take it up and maintain it. Just taking in the goodness, realigning ourselves with it. No matter what race you are, gender, religion, sexual orientation, everyone wants to be happy. I've never met someone who doesn't want to be happy, even someone who's, very self destructive in an odd kind of way. They're seeking happiness. The question is how to find it. This one thing that we're all searching for, desperate for, really. Bruno Greoning said it all really comes down to one thing: the divine connection, he called it. Gottlichen um, Verbindung, linked, to be joined up with this reality, and that that connection, one prerequisite for that connection is the either faith or the willingness to have faith. You know, as human beings, we look for happiness in the world, meaning we look for happiness in people, places, and things. Now, I'm not here to discourage anyone from enjoying life and doing things, because I'd be a total hypocrite, because I don't, I'm not a monk. And the thing is there is no lasting happiness in any of those things. They're all impermanent. What, you know, the one of the whatever spiritual path you're on, whatever your religion or spiritual path is, in different ways, they all point out that real happiness only lies in that which is eternal. And so, there's a bit of a dance for I assume no one on here is a monk or nun. If you are, please let me know, but I'd be curious to hear how that's going. But so there's this curious dance of like, okay, well, my happiness comes from whether you call it God or enlightenment or divine love, or as Bruno said, the Gottlichen Verbindung, the divine connection. And so, how does that then relate to activities and um, doing and enjoying people, places, and things? Well, all I have to say about that, and I think um, to tune in, and ask this this good reality, this um, this wonderful reality. I feel so good when I tune in, and other people experience this, say the same thing, much less the healings that happen. So to tune in and ask, to seek to be guided, to seek to follow, love, to seek to harmonize with life, to seek to be guided. So let's do a little bit of that right now. Bruno called it receiving the divine transmission. That if we're busy thinking a lot, if we're busy talking a lot, there needs to be some time to listen. If we don't make time to listen, then we're trying to run the show, and things don't go so well. When describing Einstein, Bruno said, listen deeply inside yourself. One thing on this path that I sometimes struggle with, and I'm guessing pretty much every human being on the planet struggles with, is recurring negative thoughts where we just like, kind of seem like we're stuck in a loop. And a big thing that's really helpful for me is to, and generally it's about something negative that happened to us or someone else, something that doesn't seem fair. And Bruno Greening was quite adamant that um, in essence, that everything happens for a reason. My understanding of what he taught is that it really boils down to what you could call karma, what he calls the law of cause and effect, or for a lesson. He once gave the extreme example that Freddie Hosp, who I read from Freddie's book a lot, Alfred Hosp, was born with a very severe handicap for his spiritual development. In talking about that, Bruno didn't say that, oh, this is your past karma. This is because of the law of cause and effect. He said this was the only way you could learn. In essence, that it was by design. So the thing is there's two ways of looking at life, really. That a higher power is in charge all the time, or a higher power isn't in charge all the time. That sometimes chaos reigns supreme. Now, that's not to say that bad things don't happen, that chaotic things don't happen, but Bruno Gröning pointed out that even those chaotic or painful things serve a higher purpose. And so just take a look and see. You know, what I found in my own reflecting on myself is that if I'm suffering, it's always because some way, somehow I've lost that view. I've lost the view that there is a higher power in charge. I'm thinking something's unfair, something shouldn't happen. Basically, I'm kind of judging life. And I've stepped away from the view that everything happens for a reason, for a divine reason, for a good reason, for a reason that serves. So let's continue to tune in to mm, the divine transmission and just take a look and don't take my word for it. Don't take Bruno's words for it. Find out for yourself. Does everything happen for a reason? A divine reason, a reason that serves. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining in. Thanks for the hellos, the alohas, the aholas, and thanks for ever loving everything. I missed doing this, and it's really great to see your name, feel your presence. So let's take on faith. That's what Bruno instructed us to do, to take on faith, to take on trust that life is, it's a radical act in May 2020 to believe that life is harmonious and orderly, but the alternative is not so pleasant, to believe that life isn't fair, that goodness isn't supreme. Um, so thank you so much for joining in. Take care. Much love.